How a Slave Saved Abraham Lincoln's Life. Part 2. The sun rose on a tense morning in Springfield. Josiah, the enslaved man whose quiet strength and sharp mind had already made an impression on Abraham Lincoln, was now working in the same part of town as Lincoln's modest law office. Though they lived in completely different worlds, Lincoln, a rising white lawyer with anti-slavery views, and Josiah, a black man owned by a cruel master, their paths continued to cross. One particular day, Lincoln overheard something troubling in a local tavern. A group of Southern businessmen, loyal to the slaveholding elite, were speaking in hushed tones. One of them slammed his fist on the table and said that tall lawyer Lincoln is stirring the wrong waters. He'll bring down the whole institution if we let him speak much longer. Men like him ... They need silencing. Lincoln, sitting quietly with his coffee, pretended not to hear, but his mind registered every word. That night, as he walked home under the dim streetlights, he had the eerie feeling that someone was following him. The sound of boots echoed behind him but stopped every time he turned. Lincoln, known for his courage, kept walking, but made a mental note. Josiah's warning. The next morning, Josiah arrived early at the local stable to feed the horses. His ears were sharp and his instincts sharper. He overheard the same men this time speaking in the alley behind the tavern. One voice said, "Tomorrow night, we catch him alone, make it look like a robbery gone bad. Nobody asks questions." Josiah froze. He knew exactly who they were talking about. He waited until they left, then ran a knot walked to Lincoln's office. Breathless, he said, "Mr. Lincoln, forgive me, but you are in danger. I heard them. They plan to attack you tomorrow night." Lincoln looked up from his papers, eyes narrowing. "Who did you hear? Are you sure?" Josiah nodded. "I've lived among men like them long enough to know when someone means it." Lincoln stood slowly. "You risked everything to tell me this." Josiah replied, "Sir, if men like you fall, what hope do the rest of us have?" Setting a trap, Lincoln wasn't one to panic. Instead, he devised a plan. With Josiah's help, he would set a trap. "I'll take the same route tomorrow," Lincoln said. "But I won't be alone." Josiah nodded. "I'll be there, hidden." The next night, Lincoln walked his usual path. The streets were quiet, the lamps barely glowing in the wind. Just as he passed the narrow alley between Jackson and Main Street, two shadows lunged from the dark. Now, Lincoln. But before they could strike, Josiah emerged from the shadows, wielding a wooden staff with precision. One of the attackers fell instantly. The other fought back fiercely, but Josiah's years of suffering had built more than muscles, they had built resilience. He knocked the second man down, his eyes burning not with hatred but with justice. Lincoln stood in shock as the two assailants groaned on the ground. Townsfolk rushed in, and within minutes, the sheriff arrived. The aftermath. The attack made headlines in Springfield. Rumors flew. Who tried to kill Lincoln? Who is this brave black man who saved him? Josiah, despite risking his life, was still considered property by law. His owner demanded that Josiah be punished for interfering in white business. Lincoln wouldn't allow it. He went to court. "Josiah saved my life," Lincoln told the judge. "And a man who risks his own life to protect another deserves more than Chainsey, deserves freedom." The courtroom gasped. The owner protested, citing property laws. But Lincoln stood firm. This court must decide. Are we governed by greed or by justice? The judge, under public pressure and Lincoln's eloquent words, finally relented. Josiah was declared a free man. It was the first time in his life Josiah had heard his name spoken, without it being followed by orders or insults. A bond forged in fire after that night, Josiah didn't disappear into obscurity. He began working as an assistant in Lincoln's office not as a servant, but as a free man, with a sharp mind and unmatched loyalty. Lincoln, now a rising political figure, often quoted Josiah in speeches. "There are men who wear suits and call themselves noble," he once said. "And then there are men like Josiah who wear scars and carry courage that could build a nation." The two men, so different in birth, but united in principle, walked a difficult road together, fighting for justice in small but meaningful ways. To be continued. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a comment if you'd like to see the next part.